consistently seen those 60s and 70s for the last few weeks to now we're talking about backing things off below normal for a little while, including tomorrow. It really does start tomorrow in terms of our big cool down. We're going to get stuck in the 40s and 50s tomorrow afternoon with rain on top of that for the day. On top of that, we're looking ahead to Tuesday and Wednesday mornings in the upstate where we've got a freeze, not just in the upstate but into the mountains as well. But it's more of an issue for the upstate because we've already started the growing season. So it started a little early this time this year because of how warm it's been. So that means we've got plants and crops that are at risk of being killed by this freeze as we head into the morning hours. So looking ahead to Monday night into Tuesday morning, temperatures dropping down in the 20s into the mountains and hovering right around that freezing mark in the upstate. Depending on just how long we see that freeze is really what we're looking at, that potential there, and then an even higher potential as we head Tuesday night into Wednesday morning with temperatures dropping a couple degrees lower into those mid-20s in the mountains to around 30 degrees in the upstate. But because it's the second morning in a row that we're seeing temperatures below freezing, that gives it the higher probability that we could see some issues with some plants being killed off by this frost and freeze that we're looking forward to on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So we had record warm through the month of February. It's been unseasonably warm with these 60s and 70s. So that started the growing season to start a full 2 weeks earlier than normal across the upstate. So that frost freeze potential that we're looking ahead to on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings means that it could possibly damage our crops. So we're going to be talking a lot about this in the next couple of days. You don't necessarily need to take action tonight, tomorrow night, but headed into Monday night, that's when you're going to want to be protecting those plants. Now, on top of that, it's going to be windy as we head into those overnight hours. Really Monday during the day all the way through Wednesday morning. We're looking at a fairly decent breeze, winds gusting upwards of 20 miles per hour in the upstate, upwards of 30 miles per hour into the mountains. And that means we've got feels like temperatures out the door on Tuesday morning in the mid to upper 20s in the upstate and feeling like the teens up into the mountains. And we're going to see that again on Wednesday morning. So not only are we looking at that potential for frost and freeze, but then we're looking at that potential that it's going to be very downright cold as you head out the door, including the kiddos as they're headed out to the bus stop on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So hopefully you haven't put away that warmer gear that you've got, that the winter gear with the coats, the hats, the gloves, because you're going to need them in the next couple of days. As we take a look at first alert radar right now, you can see things are starting to pick up across the western mountains. We're also starting to see some rain work their way into parts of northeast Georgia, down into Stevens, Hart County, as well as Oconee County. And this is going to continue to push off to the east as we head into the next couple of hours. At the lower elevations, temperatures well above the freezing mark. We're anywhere from the mid-40s, low to mid-40s into the mountains. We've got those upper 40s to the mid-50s across the upstate right now. So no concern in terms of frozen precipitation. You have to go all the way to the higher elevations to get that potential there. As we take a look at futurecast here, by Saturday at about 11 o'clock here in just the next couple of hours, I should say, we're going to see those become much more widespread across our entire area. Notice the chance for mixing is really isolated to Mitchell and Yancey counties where we could see some wintry precipitation at the higher elevations. But looking ahead to 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, look at how heavy some of this rain is out the door tomorrow morning. So if you're an early riser, just be aware it's going to be messy out there in the morning. And that continues through about 9 o'clock. So those of you headed out to church tomorrow morning or maybe headed out to run some errands, you're going to want to definitely have the umbrellas, but plan for a little extra time because it's going to be messy on the roads with that heavy rain. By about noon, it's pretty much out of here at this point. We're going to leave behind the cloud cover. I do think it remains overcast into the afternoon hours, but at least the rain tapers off into the afternoon hours of tomorrow. Now, we do have a winter weather advisory in effect. This has now been expanded to include a little bit more area here just with the recent update. This is just came down that we're seeing some of that down into Marion County, excuse me, as well as out into Buncombe County there in Asheville. For up to an inch of snow. We're likely going to stay on the south side of that, but even a tenth of an inch of ice. And this is going to be the higher elevations again, where we have the best potential to see some of that mixing. Because the surface temperature of the roads has been so warm lately, it's going to be hard to get any frozen issues with freezing surfaces there, but certainly something to watch out for tomorrow morning. Now, in the lower elevations, your morning temperatures are in the mid-30s to the low 40s in the mountains, and the upstate low to mid-40s, so well above the freezing mark. Again, this is a higher elevation issue where we may see some of that frozen precipitation, that mixing there early tomorrow morning. And speaking of tomorrow morning, just a reminder, before you head to bed tonight that turn the clocks back. We lose that hour of sleep tonight. Unfortunately, sunrise tomorrow morning will actually be at 7:44. This morning it was 6:45, and the sunset will be an hour later at 7:34. We don't gain necessarily any daylight time. We just shift those hours an hour later for tomorrow. Temperature-wise, it's going to be a chilly day on top of that rain, especially in the morning. 43 in Cowpens as well as Gaffney, with 47 in Gray Court for the afternoon high. We're looking at a high of 49 and 96 Abbeville as well as Hartwell, with Liberty checking in at 47 for you. With a high of 36 in Spruce Pines, struggling to get out of the 30s there. 42 in Forest City, 49 in Waynesville as well as Silva, and out towards Bryson City as well. And the roller coaster ride of temperatures is going to be real this week, y'all. We get into the low 60s on Monday, back off to the 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday, then up to the 60s on Thursday, 70 on Friday, then backing off to around 60 on Saturday. So we're all over the place in terms of our temperatures this week, above normal, below normal, all over. Once we get rid of the rain on Sunday, though, we're nice and dry for the rest of the week, and we focus on those temperatures being on the chilly side. Next chance for rain really wouldn't come into play until we get into the day on Friday. In the mountains, it's going to be cooler for you, though, the next several days. Highs in the 40s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We do get into the 50s on Wednesday and then 60s on Thursday before dropping back on Saturday, back to those 50s.